Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-written commentary, Ashton. And this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And I gotta tell you, folks, we're over a week away from the Rumble. It's the 31st. So, we're like 9 days away at this point. I would say that this installment before the go-home show was pretty damn good. We got storyline progression on a lot of fronts. I think the women really shined tonight, personally. Like the stuff that the women are involved in. That was definitely a highlight. Men's Rumble build continues to be solid. And that sweet, sweet last man standing match. I'm still really loving that. I will honestly say, for my money, the two best parts of SmackDown for me are what Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are doing and what freaking Bianca and Bayley are doing, because I think they killed it again tonight, especially with a great visual for Bianca. And I will say, as an honorable mention, and really just like a third place, the IC title picture is genuinely entertaining right now. I mean, Sammy just continues to deliver. So how about you, partner? How'd you feel about SmackDown tonight?
I agree with the highlights for you. I'll also add that the Sasha Reginald match was a real highlight of the show for me.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That Reginald, man, really going to be something when he gets more training under his belt. I hope. I should say, I hope. Yeah. We've had plenty of prospects on the history of this show that turned out to be busted.
That's like the biggest sort of reason for apprehension to get hope for him is because he is going to be exclusively trained by WWE, which never really works out well.
Exactly. But yeah, I mostly felt positive about the show. There was some stuff, I'm going to be honest, I was straight up bored by, but we'll get to that. Let's just get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. Really no heats of the night tonight. I mean, again, if I were to have nitpicks, they'd be entirely biased. Too much Charlotte and Dolph Ziggler on my TV. But other than that, I really can't complain. At least I don't think that I can. Sometimes you point things out to me where I'm like, oh yeah, that did suck. So what about you, man? You got any heats tonight you're bringing to the table tonight?
I know for a fact that I have at least one, and I might come up with a second one while I'm ranting, okay?
Sure. Floor's yours.
Okay. I shouldn't say ranting either. I'm not planning on going on a rant. Sometimes they just happen. But
yes,
I will never stop saying fuck you to Vince McMahon for not seeing anything in Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
The fact, and frankly, tonight he kind of basically fucked over Billie Kay too, because Billie Kay effectively cost Ruby and Liv the match because she, I guess, underestimated Ruby Riott's ability to counter Asuka. Because when Asuka went into that O'Connor role, she got up on the apron and she was distracting the ref, thinking, oh, well, the ref can't count because Asuka's going to get a pin here. And then Ruby reversed it into an O'Connor roll of her own. So the distraction, ended up costing Ruby and Liv what could have been the win. Which, again, we know WWE, it wouldn't have actually won them the match even if there wasn't a distraction there. But there was a big deal made of it. Michael Cole explicitly said that Billie cost him the match. She said that I cost you the match in the backstage. And now Ruby and Liv basically kicked her out of what was going to eventually have become a 3-woman squad. I fucking hate this, though, because I've absolutely been living for Billie Kay with, the punk, goofy attire that she's been wearing. I've been loving the act with her added to it, and now after 2 times getting to see it, it's done. It's over with. We're not going to get it again. Ruby and Liv aren't going to get another shot at Asuka and Charlotte in the near future, I'm guessing, because they just lost to her. So, everything about this segment pissed me off because Charlotte was OP as fuck. She was dominating both the Riot Squad members by herself, and only when Asuka got tagged in did they regain momentum. So that pisses me off. That's a twofer. That's Charlotte being OP and Asuka being underbooked again. And then you get Billie looking incompetent as a manager by distracting the ref when her woman that she was supposed to be managing was supposed to, be in a position to win. And then you've got the fact that they lost. I was really hoping that Ruby and Liv would win here so that they could get tag title shots within the next week or two, maybe even at the Rumble, I don't know. And then the backstage segment where they basically broke it off with Billie Kay. I hate fucking everything going on with this.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tentatively play devil's advocate here. Now, let me explain. First, I say tentatively because my track record of going to bat for this company is horrendous. And you could very well be right with all of your criticism. Let's take this step by step. The Charlotte criticism, I think, is absolutely valid. I already, you know me, I kind of went through it very quickly. Ziggler and Charlotte on my TV is never a plus. I didn't mind Dominic tonight only because the story really was that, he was way outmatched. Like, Ray even tried telling him, like, take my advice, whatever. No, I got this. He didn't have it. Yep. In narrator voice, right? So I agree with that criticism. Here's the thing, though, where I'm going to push back against you a little bit here that you might be being a bit preemptive, and you may not be. Again, I was very tentative about this. Billy has yet to be portrayed as a competent manager, like, at all. Because we know even when she tried managing Natalya and Tamina, it didn't work out for them either. She's not meant to be competent, at least not yet. Because you could easily just retort, well, then that's bad too. And I do agree to a point, even though I do think they find a lot of comedy in Billy, very obviously, with how they're kind of using her right now. I look at it as a story where it's like an odd couple type story, but it's with 3 people and not 2, so not like a standard tag team. And it's a different dynamic than just a tag team coming together. It's a tag team and a person that wants to manage them. I think it's a long form story where she's going to try and like earn her way back in with them. They'll take another shot on her, and then that shot really pays off. I didn't look at this as the end of a story tonight. I just looked at it as another bump in the road. Ideally, and again, I'm very careful with my words here, ideally, this story would end at Mania with them winning the tag titles. And because of Billy Kay. Maybe even Billy Kay does something as a manager that really pays off for them. They see the value in her, like, they all came together, they did it. Do I think it's going to end that way? Highly doubt it, with how WWE cares about those women's tag titles, but that's how I would end it. However, just speaking for them generally, I don't think this is the termination of the story here. I do think this is just, okay, now Billy's at a low ebb, Riot Squad doesn't want anything to do with her, but they're baby faces, so Liv's probably going to be like, oh, Ruby, maybe we were too mean to Billy, maybe we should give her another chance, and, then the second time around it goes a bit better. So I don't think I'm as pessimistic as you are about the status of this storyline. Although, again, I do agree with the Charlotte critique. I do wish that a Riot Squad weren't so underwhelming booking-wise. But we'll have to see where the story goes for them. But I don't gel with you on your interpretation of events here, I guess is the best way to put it.
Maybe on my end, it's kind of a confirmation bias, because when Billy was up on the apron as Ruby was going for the pin and would have potentially won the match there had the ref been there to count it, all I could think was, well, fuck, that's it. Billy is going to get excommunicated from the Riot Squad now because she cost them the match, and this whole thing's over. And then the segment happened later on in the night with them excommunicating her. So, like, that to me was like, okay, this is absolutely confirmation of exactly what I thought was going to happen. This is over now. Billy's going to have to move on to something else. The same way that she had to move on from like you said, Natalya and Tamina. Like, what, did that last 2 weeks as well? Because I feel like this is all, like, kind of part of the same Billy Kay storyline of her trying to find her place.
That is actually a fair point. That is actually a fair point. This could just be more about less Billy and Riot Squad specifically, and more just Billy kind of being nomadic at the moment because she hasn't really found a place to call home, an act to call home for her resume. In which case, I will say this. I would ease up on your critiques because I do think they would gain some validity in light of that. But I would say to WWE, you better have one hell of an act, because I, too, was gelling a bit. I mean, a potential hot take here, I actually kind of like Billy Kay more than Sarah Logan in this spot. I think she had more, at least that she's permitted to show, she had more personality than Logan.
Not only that, but I feel like she's also more aesthetically consistent with the rest of the group, because Sarah Logan, like, you put a Viking in with a couple of punk rockers, and how much sense does that really make? But Billy, like, rocking the fucking, plaid skirts and, like, the crazy punk rock hair and the fucking earrings and shit, I thought that she fit in perfectly aesthetically.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. See, and that's WWE's gauntlet now at their feet, like, okay.
Plus, really I feel like the skirt look with the dress top that she was going with the last couple times that we've seen her with the Riot Squad actually was a throwback a little bit to her days on the 80s as Jessie McKay, because she wore similar attire back then.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so in light of that interpretation,
Yeah.
I would say that your criticisms are more valid, and I would also say that the gauntlet then is thrown at WWE's feet. You need a better act than this then, or at least you need an act where Billy's still going to be able to shine.
And I think that's kind of where my problem comes from is like, look at the WWE tag team, women's tag team landscape. There isn't one right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there isn't a team, I would say at least outside of NXT, that I would be more happy about Billy managing than the Riot Squad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just felt like they worked really well, and that was kind of how my brain rewired things. But I think you do have a legitimate point, because it does seem like the broader story is, man, Billy just can't fit in anywhere. Cole even had a line where he's like, Billy just cannot catch a break.
Yeah.
So, like, the story really is Billy's big break, right? Yeah. Where it, like, finally goes right for her. So, we'll have to see how that goes. Is there anything else you wanted to address?
I don't think so. Believe it or not, I actually didn't hate Dominic Mysterio on the show either, just because of the fact that he got handled so quickly by somebody that should handle a rookie that quickly. Like, this is exactly the way that Dominic should be getting booked, like, and how he should have been getting booked like the entire goddamn time, instead of taking Seth fucking Rollins to the limit. That's what I hated about him, is that he was taking Rollins to the limit and killing Rollins' credibility when Rollins should have been a borderline main eventer the entire time that he wasn't actually a main eventer. And they were just like, no, we're going to use him to break in a rookie. Like, that's what I hated about Dominic. But this spot for him, losing to Corbin in 6 minutes, yeah, this is fine for me.
Bro, especially for rookies like Dominic, I'm not talking about the people that get the label rookie because you haven't done anything in WWE yet, like AJ fucking Styles, for instance. But like
actual
real,
rookies
true, actual
haven't
rookies
proven themselves.
I low-key wish WWE would treat them like Stardom, and we'd see the slow build of them. I mean, look at fucking Kamitani, dude. Yep. Like, I feel like they've really been pushing her, at a good pace, at a healthy pace. This match for Dominic, like, this is what, again, to double down on your point, should have been from the very beginning. And also, too, can I just make an observation, since we're kind of talking about this match and we could just completely gloss over it in the formal review? Yeah. This match has done more this feud, whatever the fuck, has done more for Corbin's credibility than anything he's done in a minute. Because you have Ray going over his resume, and then you have them actually act out that resume in the match by him handling Dominic so easily. I'm like, wow, Corbin hasn't looked like this much of a threat in my mind in a long time. So holy shit.
And he doesn't have his fucking disciples or whatever the fuck they're called.
That's I'm
really glad that they ditched that storyline, because that was about to get all kinds of lame.
Yeah, true. It's weird for me, man, because I don't disagree with you, but it's like, once again, where it's like, oh my god, WWE, you are so goddamn indecisive, and you.
Can I also just say too, it would have been interesting if Corbin would have ended up in some kind of a feud with the Mysterio family, knowing that we could have ended up with Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy interacting as opponents.
Yeah, that would have been very interesting, just given all the history. But yeah, just really interesting there. But all right, with that said, let us get right into our Friday night Smackdown review. And we open up, as we've grown accustomed to do, I feel like, in the last few weeks, with Roman Reigns. And folks, I just got to lead the charge here if my cohort doesn't mind. On this podcast for a long time, I can own that, I affectionately used to call Ciampa, now NXT's resident boomer, Ciampa Daddy. And then Roman, you could just hear him, you could hear the emoting of his face as he scrunched up and he's like, the fuck is this? Because this was Reigns' daddy energy, right? This fucking promo. Dude, I love, a lot like Escobar, actually, I just love listening to Roman talk. As a heel, it is one of life's simple pleasures, my friend. It is fucking wonderful to just hear him just really, like, smack everybody with his dick. Just being like, all these people. He's talking about Adam Pearce feigning the knee injury. It's like, oh, Paul, how long I've carried this company. What if my elbow started to hurt? What if my shoulder started to hurt? What was that pain I was telling you about? And Heyman's like, the load, how heavy it is. Oh, yeah, my back. Because he's carrying the whole goddamn company. Like, dude, this is the Roman Reigns that you and I have been craving, pining for, waiting for.
Dude, he even called himself the thoroughbred of WWE at one point. I was like, oh shit, that's a throwback to NXT.
Dude, when I tell you, I am fucking living for, we don't even need Mark to do the math here, all of it. It's so goddamn good. Oh my God. Because here's the thing, dude, he doesn't even, what's so good about Roman, and we could devote the whole podcast to him, fortunately we won't. I love how this dude, his emotions matter. Like this dude, right? He doesn't just emote for the sake of emoting. There's a pacing to his emotional development in a promo. He could start out real chill. Man, I run this shit. The fuck you doing? You know, and then, like, when he sees things aren't going his way, you see the anger bubble up to the surface. And the way this dude unfolds emotions in a promo is fucking masterclass. It's not like from 0 to 100 like that. It's this gradual build of like a guy's confidence being chipped at, and sooner or later it becomes a provocation, right? So then you got to answer to that. I love it. I love how this dude uses a fucking microphone. I love how he uses the ring and his body and the emotions at his disposal.
Bro, I'm waiting for him to bring back It's Irrelevant and just make us fucking millionaires with those shirts getting sold.
Dude, yes, please, for the love of God. Dude, when I speak about the emotion too, because I don't want us to overlook this line, and really me, because I know I'm all over the place, and you can tell that's when a segment's good, because I get way too excited for my own good. When he stops and gathers himself, and talks about the health risk because of his leukemia and the pandemic, and that was the only reason he missed work. That fucking line delivery, where he's pretty much telling everybody, I don't want to hear any fucking excuses from any of you. When I had to sit at home, only because I have leukemia, or I had leukemia, he did say he was in remission, and there's a pandemic going on. Like, my immune system more or less told me stay home. What's your excuse? Because everything else I'm willing to fight through.
Yeah.
Like, that fucking line delivery, dude, sent me. Because you can talk about heel, face, whatever. That is a dude, again, for lack of more poetic language from yours truly, just whipping his dick out, laying down the gauntlet and saying, who wants some? Like, really, like, who's going to say shit to me and my work ethic when this cataclysmic event, which is in no way my fault, was the only thing that stopped me? Pierce comes out because the promo's a little too fire for the scrap daddy. As if. And he says, this is going too far. Roman retorts, you're a disgrace, and you favor Kevin Owens, and you disfavor me, and just pretty much saying, like, Pierce is just trying to stack the deck against Roman Reigns. Heyman is loving Reigns, laying into him. Pierce is like, oh, you love this, Heyman. Heyman's like, I do. I really do. And he's like, I could take that from Roman. I could take that from the Tribal Chief. I sure as hell don't have to take it from you. And then Roman, being the just, do you hear that, folks? That's me chef kissing into the microphone. The primo gaslighting that's happening here. Because he's like, he's calling you out, Paul. He's disrespecting you. And when he disrespects you, he disrespects me. See, folks, when I woke up, I thought his name was still Paul E. Heyman, not Jey Uso. So Paul gets this look on his face where he really is saying, oh, this is what it's like to be Jey Uso. And he has to gather himself and be like, oh, I'm from New York, bitch. And just pretty much talking about how he will litigate Pierce's fucking ass off, right? He may not take him to church, but he'll take him to a synagogue, and he knows plenty of lawyers there. It's so bad. I was waiting for them to butt scalps, but it never happened. Because, Heyman's like, oh, I'll fight you here tonight. And, it's like in the state of Florida, that's a verbal agreement. And Pierce is like, oh, your verbal agreement has been accepted. And they shake hands, and it's happening. Boomer Wars. This, as you can tell by my energy, amazing. God. I'm going to sound so egotistical on behalf of our podcast, but, damn, dude, it feels so good to be right.
Yeah.
Because the whole time, we were like, turn him heel, watch him run, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And I don't know about you, partner, that scoreboard's looking pretty damn fucking fine to me.
I mean, it's not really fair to say that it's on behalf of our podcast, because we were far from the only people saying that Roman should turn heel. We were just along the crowd with that.
I mean, absolutely. I'm not saying we staked a claim on it, but we were very vocal about it along with everybody else. I mean, we stuck our neck out on the idea. Yeah. Turn a meal. We didn't get guillotined. My neck's still feeling fucking great. I mean, this dude is killing it right now. Like this is a dude where honestly, because we haven't seen like a really, to me, long and impressive title reign, maybe even since Punk. I don't know. Maybe there have been longer, like in the world title picture. But this dude could have a Punk-esque reign, and I don't even know if I'd complain about it. Like, there's such a believability to him when he talks and the way he carries himself, which is what I think makes shows like tonight so special, because we see how Roman ended his night, and it shows that he can do the other stuff too. He can look vulnerable. He can make the babyface look great. And he's been doing that already, just in different ways. He's a 5-tool player as a heel. And he may even be good as a babyface if they're not fucking writing for him and he's able to be himself. Yeah. I think we got a little taste of that, and yeah, it was fun. But this, dude, this is a whole other experience. But is there anything you want to add, man? Because I've just been gushing over here. Is there anything you want to kind of add?
Well, I feel like you've gotten all the positive out of the way. And the only negative that I have to say is that I just feel like Roman's entrance has been inherited from The Undertaker because it takes so fucking long for him to get in the goddamn ring now.
Yeah. All right, when you're tuning into the Island of Relevancy, we're on Roman Reigns time. That's another line he needs to bring back. So I've heard some of you people complaining about my entrance. I guess you forgot it's Roman Reigns. Like I would die. Oh God, so good. All right,
yeah, so that would be absolutely incredible.
that was that segment, and then I mean. As if this podcast doesn't do it well enough, Friday Night Smackdown gets political because we see Sami Zayn with his camera crew and these picket signs, and he handcuffs himself in protest because of the horrendous Intercontinental Championship picture. Sami Zayn is seeking justice, and this is a running bit throughout the show that culminates in Apollo Crews vs. Big E, which happens later in the show. I thoroughly enjoyed this, man. What did you think about Sami Zayn's kind of dynamic with the show here tonight?
Bro, the highlight of Sami being locked up here was Cesaro walking by and being like, oh, I could say it in French. And then he starts talking to French to Sami, and Sami goes to reply, and Cesaro's just like, yeah, no one wants to hear you.
What a douche.
That was so good.
Oh, man. I'm really feeling good about this show.
I never thought I'd see the day, though, that Cesaro would have a promo or a moment in a promo that would be a highlight of a show to me. And there here he is. Like, where did this come from?
I know, right? Oh my God, our SmackDown roster doing big things. We can bypass everything with Riot Squad and Charlotte and Asuka. I called them in my notes Empresses with flair. That's way too good for Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm angry because it's good and she doesn't deserve it.
So yeah, we're just going to skip everything to do with that, and we're going to go right to, at least in my notes, Daniel Bryan's promo. What did you think about this, man? I want you to do a bit more talking for the next few segments, because I know I really, again, gushed in that first segment. What do you think about Bryan's promo tonight?
I love Bryan. Like, the more opportunities that he gets to talk and cut promos like this, the more I really do think that he's not going to win the Rumble, but he will be in the Final Four. It feels like they're really doing a lot to kind of make us think he's going to win, and then the swerve is going to be that he's going to get really close and then just not quite get there. I told everybody on this podcast a little while ago that I think that a Raw superstar is going to win the men's, maybe even both Rumbles, I think I actually said, and I'm going to double down on that. I think a Raw superstar is going to win both Rumbles. I think that the men's Rumble winner, though, might even go over to SmackDown and challenge Roman. I don't know. I still have, we're doing our preview predictions next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So we're taking that prime time slot, baby, because it's the Royal Rumble preview predictions, and those are like the biggest deal preview predictions that we do all year, even bigger than WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is a normal preview prediction. Royal Rumble, we play our game, and that's a lot of fun. But right now, I feel like Bryan and Cesaro or Bryan and Nakamura are going to be the SmackDown reps in the Final Four of the Rumble, and then the other two people are going to be Raw, and one of those two people will win the Rumble. So right now, I just absolutely loved Bryan's promo here. He, talks about how big of a deal the Royal Rumble is, talks about the rules, says about how if you win, you get to challenge for the world title at WrestleMania. that kind of stuff. And then Cesaro comes out and he's just like, "Oh, thank you for explaining the rules of the Royal Rumble to us, Bryan." And then he says that I could have done it better, and I could have done it in 5 different languages. And then he does the speaking French to Sammy, and he hands him the mic, and Sammy's like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and he's just like, "Oh, no one cares what you have to say." And then he gets in the ring and he says something along the lines of like, "I know that I can beat anyone except maybe you." And he was talking to Bryan, and then he says, "So I want this match." Or no. Actually, I'm jumping the gun, because he says to Bryan that I know I beat you already, so I don't need to worry about you anymore. So I'm going to issue an open challenge to anyone in that locker room who is declared for the Royal Rumble to come out here and face me right now. Which, obviously would have excluded Bryan, but then fucking Dolph Ziggler comes out, and Ziggler says that he knows that he can wrestle circles around anyone except for Cesaro. So that was where I was mixing it up there. But yeah, Bryan's promo was great. Cesaro actually did a really good job on the mic here, and low-key, I kind of appreciated what Ziggler had to say here. The way that he put over Cesaro isn't something that you see often enough in wrestling anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to agree with everything you said so as not to be redundant. I will say, though, as far as your Rumble sentiments, just to offer a little bit of pushback to hype up our preview, I think it's a bold choice you're making, given as Mark pointed out as well, and I was going to point this out, Raw did win both Rumbles last year.
That's okay.
So it's funny that you're thinking they're going to do it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I really don't necessarily think that the WWE thinks about, like, oh, this brand won something big this year, so they have to win something else, or the other brand has to win it next year, or anything like that. I don't think they give a fuck, honestly.
Right. Well, we'll have to see how it goes. I honestly am excited for our preview, because I've already had some things come together for me as well. Again, I'm not going to touch anything you said about that segment because you said it all perfectly. Cesaro, Ziggler, not really much to say. It's not even that it was a bad match. I'm just going to be honest. I'm apathetic towards Dolph Ziggler.
Dude, it's funny exactly. Like, they could have had a 4.5-star match, and I would have never known it, because I just don't give a single fuck about this match. Like, even if you go like 18 to 20 minutes and you put on a New Japan style classic, because of the two guys that are in it, and because of how absolutely ruined Dolph Ziggler's name value is for me at this point, I just don't give a single fuck.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess I low-key kind of lied that I wouldn't paper over anything you said, but I will just remark one thing about the promo exchanges with everybody. Ziggler did say at one point to Bryan, "It's not 2014 anymore, brother." Well, Dolph, newsflash, it's not 2012 either, so get the fuck over yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that's a really, really good point, because, like, if we're just talking since 2014, Bryan has still had a far more successful and entertaining career than you, Ziggler, and he was retired for half that time.
Yeah. Like, he actually only fairly recently, in the last, like, I want to say 3 years, had a really compelling WWE title reign, so...
Yeah. The last time Ziggler was world champion was, what, 2011?
Yeah, Ziggles. Fuck you. So, yeah, this match happened. Pretty cool finish with Cesaro powering through to get the neutralizer. And, yeah, he gets the win. So
how does it feel to be so concise and yet so correct?
I mean, it's kind of like being your face, which means that it was excellent.
I knew it.
Speaking of, well, maybe excellent would be overstating it, but I did have a lot of fun with this. Sasha versus Reginald. How did you feel about this, man?
I loved this. I really enjoyed this. Reginald's, like, stunt work is really incredible. The guy isn't really necessarily that great of a wrestler yet. He still has a long way to go there. Still, though, like, holy shit. The shit that this dude is capable of. And the thing is, we know why. He's a former Cirque du Soleil performer. So that, like, makes... And then Corey at one point even said Cirque du Sommelier at one point. So, like, yeah, it's perfect. Like, it's really, really good the way that they kind of worded that. But this dude is freaky. This dude is really something special, and I don't expect anything like this to happen within the next, like, 4 to 5 years for him. But at some point, if he can really put it all together as an actual wrestler, he could be, like, the next Daniel Bryan for all we know. He could be that, like, really, really top-level babyface. Because he's clearly got, like, some swagger about him, too. Like, he's got charisma. He's got that, like, that presence, that magneticism that you look for, that is, like, that it factor that JR always likes to talk about. And he's obviously just, like, an incredible athlete. Like, the way that he moves, some of the, like I said, the stunts that he was doing where, like, oh, he's going to backflip in the ring and then slide out under the ropes in one fluid motion, and then, like, the backflip and the, like, even, like, you know how there's always those spots in matches where you'll get the fucking like drop down, leapfrog, jump over and into the roll and then like standoff. Well, this dude added a fucking corkscrew to his jump over. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? He's insane. He's actually insane. As a wrestler, though, Sasha just absolutely wrestled circles around him, which is to be expected because she is like one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and really, I would say one of the best overall wrestlers in the world right now. But like, dude's special for sure. Like Foster, we actually made jokes about how this dude was you, I think, at some point in the Discord, or like how he reminded us of you. But like, if this is you, bro, like, holy shit, you've been hiding some secrets from us. God damn.
So again, you said everything really well. Not really much to restate, but I will just say two things about Reginald. One, because bro, let's just get ahead of this right now, and I don't think this is too much of a giveaway for our preview. You and I both know that some Rumble spots every year get wasted, right? Give this dude a fucking spot in the Rumble.
Oh, hell yeah. Like,
seriously.
He, Kofi, and John Morrison should be having competitions every year to see who can have the most ridiculous save. Maybe even throw, like, Casey Catanzaro in there for the Women's Rumble.
Dude, I honestly believe that if they put him in the men's just as, like, a surprise, like, oh, what is this? He's going to have the freaky save of the Rumble. And you know, dude, I'm a big Jomo fan, and I know for a fact he's in the match.
At this point, you know how they have the Slammies at the end of every year, and they always have like 4 to 7 nominations for everything?
Yeah.
I think you have enough people now that could fit into this category to actually make Best Royal Rumble Save a category for a Slammy. If it doesn't exist already, it might have already existed, but like, you've got Kofi, you've got Jomo, you've got fucking Reginald at this point. You've got Casey, and I think Bianca has done a freaky save or two in her career so far as well. So
Naomi, if they could get her back, and you know, I don't know what's going on with her. You know, yeah. I don't know if it's pandemic or what.
Wait, who did you name?
Naomi.
Oh, Naomi Naomi. How could I forget Naomi? Yeah, I'm so stupid. Of course. Yeah, Naomi. So you've got 3 men and 3 women right there that could all be competing. And plus, like, you know, there are other, like, freaky athletes that could be potentially competing, too. I'm sure Ember Moon, if she ends up in another one. You know, you've got fucking Ricochet could probably do some crazy shit. I feel like he probably has done something like that already. You know, like, it's like a real thing. It's like a fucking category. I feel like we should almost add that to, like, awards, but I don't know. We'll have to see if they even try to do multiple or if they're just going to save it to just one.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, yeah, for one thing, he should definitely be in the Rumble. I would pop for that.
Yes.
The second thing, because I did say I had 2
Actually,
points.
Let me ask you this, though. Should he be in the Men's Rumble or the Women's Rumble? Legitimate question, not capping at all.
I think it'd be intriguing if he was in the Women's.
I know, because like,
he's so evasive, yeah.
We had fucking Nia in the Men's Rumble the other year, right?
And dude, we had fucking Santina.
Santina last year. And who is Reginald's entire beef with? Sasha Banks. He doesn't give a fuck about any of the men on the roster. He's feuding with Sasha.
Yeah, and he's doing it on behalf of Carmella.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So maybe he's not actually in either Rumble. Maybe he just, like, wrestles in the Women's Rumble with Carmella being the actual representative.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that'd be fucking wild. But, yeah, the second point I want to make... And again, I'm far more tentative about this one because I was even telling Ashton guys before we went live, this podcast has a history of getting really excited about something. Like, the person I will always think about is how excited we were about Paige when NXT first really started. And I remember even saying, like, that girl's going to be a legend. Yep. She's going to be huge. Like, I don't think I've ever had a bigger serving of crow. I mean, I probably have. But that was a pretty big fucking bird that I ate. So
dude, the worst thing is she was on the fucking path to be what we thought she was going to be, and then she self-destructed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if this guy really shows out and really develops as a wrestler, there's a top babyface here to me. Because, like, he has a great... Dude, you were saying something earlier. I was kind of nodding my head while you were talking. When you were talking about the charisma... And the look, Foster, do not remind me of Rick Boogs right now. I am already so depressed. Because I'm telling you, Foster, I'm just going to say it. And again, I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything. This is just my prediction, to be perfectly clear. He had to be a part of one of those COVID parties or something. Like, that is the only rational explanation I have for why you can look at somebody that looks like that and not use them. He has to have some kind of heat or something. That's my headcanon. That's the only way I sleep at night. But anyway, Reginald, to me, has such a great look. And when you were talking about the charisma and that X factor, especially when he gave the rose to Sasha, how funny, because, Utami did that when, like, on the Korakuen show from the 17th. I'm like, damn, like, this dude just emanates. I feel like WWE tries so hard to write charisma for people, and sometimes it doesn't even, like, it stunts the charisma they naturally have. Like, I immediately think of Angel Garza, right? They're trying to make him something when it's like, let the dude work. And let the dude just be himself. Like, stop trying to give him charisma. Let him show you the charisma he already has.
Yeah.
And that's what I worry about. You and I, it's so funny that the biggest detriment to anybody in the WWE system is the WWE system. Because I really think this guy could be something. Again, if he takes to being a wrestler, we don't know. That's why I'm very tentative about this. But if he takes to it like a fish to water, I really believe, much like the person who beat him tonight, sky's the limit,
that's her theme song.
And yeah, I'm excited about this dude. I really am. So yeah, this is a fun match. Good stuff. After this, we got Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman backstage. This is pretty much what Roman Reigns let Paul know. Paul, you gotta be a man. You gotta fight your own battles. Again, that primo gaslighting right there. But Roman, yes, I do. Don't you ever fucking question me again. Like, I love it. I shouldn't love it because it's actually low-key, it's pretty abusive. But like,
it's almost like have you ever heard of the narcissist's prayer?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah, the whole thing is the narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen, and if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it.
Yeah, oh my God. How am I only now learning about this? Oh, man. God, that both cuts me so deeply and gives me such joy. I really, really need that second therapist. But yeah, with that said, God, what a juxtaposition of emotions.
That's really weird, because I can feel it emanating off. You're so happy and joyous and so fucking cut by this.
Yeah, I am.
How? I feel like the joy is a cover. Okay, anyway, let's go.
That's what I call drama volume 7, baby. So then we get Apollo Crews versus Big E. You know something? I got. Do you mind if I take the lead on this? Because I feel like I did let you kind of talk the last few segments. I really want to like Crews, man. And let me get ahead of this. He didn't do anything wrong, right? It's not about that. I just want to see something happen with this. Where, like, either he turns heel, maybe he starts running with Roman and Paul. Maybe as a heel, he can even talk. We don't fucking know. Like, I want to like him, man. He has a good look. He's solid in the ring. But I'm just thinking to myself, you know what's so hard? Like, I think a robust mid-card is important for any aspiring wrestling company. And even if you're, like, entrenched as the wrestling company as WWE is, it's still important. It's hard, though, to have a mid-card that people can care about when you realize that the guy that's a part of it that really is getting some shine, you know it's only temporary. Which I guess as all acts should be, but you should always kind of keep them in focus at the same time. It's kind of like that rotation that Al Snow talks about. Just because you rotate somebody on a lower tier or a higher, and especially a higher tier, but on a lower tier, doesn't mean you forget about them completely. And that's the thing with Crews. Like, I feel like they put him on the periphery to where he's like just barely in focus. And then when it's a mid-card title or something, they trot him out. Like, hey, put on these great matches and we're just going to push you back in again. Or push you back out again. I don't want that for him. I want to like this dude. I want there to be a character and a greater story. Because that Talking Smack segment that he had with Heyman, because I did go back and I watched, like, the full 4-minute video of it. He emoted. He looked like he wanted to deck Paul in the face, which really meant that he wanted to deck Big E in the face. He was fucking irate. You saw him sitting with Roman. That was compelling stuff. I'm not predicting this officially. So, like, I don't think I'm giving the game away. I honestly wouldn't mind if he tried helping Roman in the Last Man Standing match to beat KO. Really make that shit official. If we're thinking too much about Jey Uso, and then it's like, ha ha ha, joke's on you, because this guy understands that I lead the locker room and he wants to.
You know what, dude? If they came up with a stipulation that banned Jey from ringside, I would agree with you, but because that's not a thing, I don't know why there's any reason that Jey wouldn't be able to just come out and help.
I see. I do agree with you there. I do, and that's why again I'm just putting that out there, just as like something that I would like because I want something more for Cruz. Because again, this was solid for what it was. These guys can go. I will say too is kind of a nitpick. It's weird, man, because it's not like they're not doing anything with the Intercontinental title, obviously. But I'm going to say it. I'm very anxious aardvark about it. I don't want Big E to feel like just another mid-card champion, right? Because we know this dude's got the goods.
Right.
I'm very anxious aardvark that that's going to happen.
That's kind of what it feels like already to me.
Yeah, so I'm not alone in that. Okay. Yeah, that's actually comforting to know that I'm not crazy because...
Well, I'm glad I could comfort you.
Oh, your face is beautiful. But, no, we know Big E's got the goods, man. Like, we do. And it just... Like, I know.
I would fucking lose my shit if we ever got a Roman Big E title versus title match.
Oh, we fucking Hogan and Warrior that shit? Fuck
yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Because, dude, fuck Ultimate Warrior. He shouldn't be the only guy that can go down as a dual IC world champion. Let Big E take that shit.
Dude, and thank you for saying that and actually getting ahead of me and saying it, because what I was about to say was, I know people didn't seem to like want him. Well, I think a lot of people did want him just right in the world title picture, but maybe some other people thought it would be hot-shotted. But honestly, what we said about The Fiend when he was really hot, copy-paste it here. There is no, like, quote-unquote, right time. Like, if they're hot,
you can't be pushed too fast when you're this hot.
Exactly. And I feel like Big E, oddly enough, I feel like he was hotter coming off of his victory over Sheamus, because Sheamus was, like, bullying him, and he was really taking it to him, and he was a bigger guy. That's low-key a talent of Sheamus's, is getting somebody. He's almost like a quasi-gatekeeper in that way. And, like, I feel like after winning that feud, he should have really been primed up for, like, oh, when's he going to get that world title matchup? And, you know, see, I don't want to be an asshole here, but it is our podcast. I have to wonder if the Jey Uso angle was worth it. Because I almost have to wonder if at least we shouldn't have gotten a little taste of Big E in the main event in those two pay-per-views that Jey Uso got to do with Roman. And I've loved the Jey Uso stuff. Like, that's the problem, is that I genuinely did like it. It's not that I thought it was a bust, but I see Big E working with Apollo and still working with Sammy, because I'll cut to it, folks. Sammy undoes his cuffs. After one last hilarious picket sign, how do you sleep at night? I fucking died reading that. And he haluva kicks both of them. But, like, I can't help but feel like, man, Big E's going to be stuck when this is all over. And, like, he's going to be able to talk his way into it, and he's going to be able to talk up his feuds. But we're all going to know in the back of our minds that he's better than everything he's doing right now. Because I already feel like he's better than what he's doing right now. Low-key, I'm kind of rooting for Apollo to win the title and maybe run league with Reigns, because that elevates him and it frees up Big E to go after the world title, which he should be doing. So, yeah, man, I just had to get my thoughts out there, because it's not like any of this was bad, which is why it was a really weird place for me. I'm just very apprehensive, and again, I straight up said anxious aardvark about a lot of things at play here. Do you have anything you want to add?
Not to what you were just saying, but I do want to just kind of correct myself. Warrior isn't the only person ever to hold both the IC and world titles at the same time. Triple H did it as well.
I don't even remember Triple H doing that, but yeah.
Yeah, in 2002, actually, he won the IC title while world champion to unify it with...
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the fucking No Mercy match against Kane at the time they retired the Intercontinental title.
Yep, and then brought it back 7 months later. Christian won it.
Yeah. Oh, Christian.
In a battle royal.
I guess I only forgot about that because, yeah, that was the retiring of the title. Triple H didn't even celebrate with the title when he won it. He just cared
right, so he was never really a proper double champion like Warrior was.
Yeah. And even though double champions have become a fad, I'd tolerate one more if it was a guy like Big E. That'd be an impressive fucking visual.
Oh, actually, no. Actually, I take it back. A Warrior relinquished the title after winning the WWF title in order to focus on defending the ladder. So, yeah. So fucking Warrior also. Wait, didn't Seth Rollins hold both at one point too, or was that US?
He was US and WWE.
Oh my God. So this double champion where you hold a world title and a mid-card title at the same time is a little bit less one of a kind than I thought it was.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But still, I would love to see that happen for Big E. That would be perfect for him, I think. Like, It's one of those things where it felt like a relegation for him to win the IC title, and for him to only have won the IC title so that he could be a double champion with the world title as well would be like justification for winning the IC title first to me.
Yeah. I don't want this to be where they park the Big E car, because
exactly.
like we know it could drive so much further.
You know what, Foster? I agree that the double champ thing is annoying. So realistically, if Big E would win the world title at WrestleMania and then relinquish the IC title, I wouldn't even be angry. I would be perfectly understanding of that.
Yeah, same. All right. After this, we get a Kevin Owens promo. I fucking loved it. It was vulnerable. It was honest. He talked about his grandpa. Like, he has a lot of tattoos. Each tattoo has a story, but the tattoos on his knuckles, are very important to him because it's his grandparents' initials. And he said his grandparents, my biggest fans, always supporting me. And my biggest regret is that they never got to see me perform on the WWE stage because they died a few years before I made it. And that's why I'm going to just keep fighting. And like that's the motivation, is the people that really supported my dream more than anyone at the time never got to see me really live it. So I'm going to, more or less live it to the fullest. I thought this was a heartfelt promo. I mean, this is what babyface Kevin Owens is capable of. I mean, goddamn, this is a great night for Kevin Owens. Holy shit. Anything you want to say about this promo before we move on?
No. I love what Foster said about how it felt like a cameo, like what you would pay for on Cameo.
Yeah. And see, that was my only, we got to see it on TV, so that's fair enough. And I guess it really wouldn't have mattered cutting it in the Thunderdome because they have pipe-in reactions anyway.
That's the fucking way to do it. Like, to me, legitimately, you could add a third hour to SmackDown if they did more shit like this. Like, if you, maybe not even an hour, maybe I'm just exaggerating on that, but like, you could add more time to your shows if you would literally just be like, oh, what important things happened on social media with our wrestlers this week, and put that shit on TV. Like, WWE, I feel like, is the only company that bothers to do that right now. And if AEW would ever decide to start showing the fucking stupid ass storylines that they have on Being the Elite and social media on their TV show, that would be one step towards them getting me back as a fan. Because I have less than zero intentions of watching their non-televised shit. And as long as they have actual important shit go down on their non-televised shit, I have less than zero intentions of watching their TV show either.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I completely agree with you. I thought this was great. I want more content like this. And I'll be honest, the fan discourse continues to rage on, by which I mean, is the product better with crowds, without crowds? Promos like this, I always feel like get taken to another level when they're cut in front of a crowd. If Kevin Owens was able to be this vulnerable, like in front of people, like in that way, I would have been very curious to hear the response. So, for that, I was kind of thinking, man, it would have been great if we had a crowd here and we weren't in a pandemic. But for what it was, I thought it was a fine piece of work. Street Profits and Sonya segment. They present her with a fruit basket. I don't really want to talk too long about this. They're more or less asking when they're going to get their rematch. And Sonya is like, oh, well, I can't give it to you right away because your leg's still healing up. But I'll tell you what, you go, you take your time, you get healed up, and then we'll talk about it. And they're like, oh, cool. So,
yeah,
I guess
going into this, I thought I would hate it, and I didn't. So props, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much my mood. I was like, man, it happened. Wasn't bad.
It didn't annoy the shit out of me, which is unusual for the Street Profits these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Then after this, we get, indeed, the fucking obstacle course.
Okay. So
yeah,
I want to just take point on this because I just want to say this made Bayley look so fucking stupid.
Continue. I want to get my full thoughts together. So, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Okay. Well, okay. So last week she introduced the idea, and I was like, Bayley, you know how stupid you are, right? She's actually the strongest woman on the roster. She's actually the fastest woman on the roster. She's actually the most athletic woman on the roster. What the fuck are you doing? And her entire plan to counteract the obvious advantage that Bianca had in all those categories was, I'm going to make the obstacles a tiny bit more difficult, and she's going to have to carry Otis instead of Gable, which, if you pay any attention to her lifting weights numbers from the NXT Combine for the last 3 years, you know that she's capable of doing that. So The fuck are you doing, Bayley? You are really, really dumb if you thought you had any chance at winning this. So your entire plan was to make her struggle a little more than you, still beat you, and then beat her up afterwards? That's fucking stupid.
Okay. Gonna be honest, I was gonna come in and say that I really enjoyed this, and then that happened.
Oh, dude, no. I want you to understand, I love the way that Bianca was able to shine here. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But Bayley looked really fucking dumb.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like, I expected more, if I'm truthful, Bayley to really try, but just look like a mess doing it. It didn't even look like she really tried.
Well, no, and that's the thing. Like, even like with the tire, we've literally seen Bayley flip tires on her fucking Instagram. We know she can do it. She exaggerated how difficult it was. And then the fucking stupid ass military wall obstacle things, she didn't even try on those, even though we know that she could probably at least do them, even if she wouldn't have been able to do them quickly. And then Chad Gable? Really? She's gonna act like Chad Gable is a challenge for her to carry? Like, we've seen Bayley do fireman's carries before, for fuck's sakes. We know that she's not this, like, weak little pipsqueak that can't do anything. She hits the gym. She's a strong woman. She is a capable athlete. She went out of her way to make herself look like an incompetent one in this. And writing-wise, she went out of her way to make herself look like an incompetent competitor as well by thinking that the slightly higher fucking hurdles and Otis were going to be what would prevent Bianca from being able to complete the obstacle course. Like, Bayley looked completely incompetent throughout this entire segment, and that's why I hated it. But on the other side, on the flip side, Bianca looked like a fucking star, and that was amazing for her.
Okay, so in light of your criticism, which has really given me pause, I almost have to wonder, because there are, to me, two other routes this segment could have gone to maybe be better. And I can't believe I'm about to reference this fucking feud. Oh, my God.
Oh,
okay, so if this would have taken a page maybe from Triple H and Scott Steiner's playbook, when they were doing their bullshit when they were feuding.
The push-up contest and stuff like that.
Push-ups, because here's the thing. Triple H actually tried in those feuds.
That's
and
exactly,
Steiner,
yes. Exactly, thank you. That's pretty much exactly my point. You can make Bianca look like a star without making Bayley look like a fucking nonce or a dunce or a fucking geek or whatever word you want to use.
Because here's the thing. You could have had them actually try the same obstacle course and Bianca just shines. Or if you wanted, again, to get the heat on Bayley because she is a conniver, or she should be, right? This conniving, clever heel. You pretty much do. Well, okay, you change two big things. One, you actually have Bayley try, which is what we've been emphasizing. But you keep the changing of the obstacle courses because Bayley's like, oh, that wasn't meant for you. And you have Bianca still crush it, but in just that much, more time than Bayley. And Bayley's like, oh, I guess I was faster than you, whatever. And brags, even though it's like a non-win. But so those to me are the two routes you could have gone. You either Triple H and Scott Steiner it, where you commit to the same course for both women. Bayley looks great, but Bianca just looks that much better, which I feel like I would have preferred. Or again, you pretty much do everything except Bayley actually try and Bianca come in just a little over after carrying fucking Otis, right? Which alone, that visual was astounding.
Yeah,
like that's
dude.
Really
that right there, you don't need anything else. Bianca didn't have to win the obstacle course. She didn't have to win the race. She didn't have to break Bayley's ankles live on television. Like, you literally needed nothing else. Showing her lifting Otis over her shoulders and walking like the 12 feet or whatever it was that she walked with him. That was the segment right there. That made everything just like, that was it. That made Bianca right there in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. So like her winning the obstacle course really was just a cherry on top of the sundae. The sundae to me was the visual that's going to be GIF to shit of her carrying Otis on her fucking... Because, dude, oh, God, I want to say this so bad right now, but I think I should save it for our preview. Fuck me. Okay, I'll be good. I really can't wait for us to preview Rumble, though, because seeing that definitely gave me ideas. But, yeah, Bianca looked great here. I just think, I do agree with you. I feel like if they would have more gone the route of a Triple H Steiner, where it's like, oh, look how impressive Bayley is. Isn't she great? And she's so proud of herself. And maybe she would even deserve to be because, she is a fucking WWE performer.
Yeah.
And then Bianca comes out like that. It's like, oh, and then the insecurity flares up, and then you could do the exact attack. Because I gotta be honest too. Maybe it's just because I'm on my bullshit tonight. I loved how the attack started. Basketball right to the I felt that, bro. I'm like, oh, and Bayley just beat the crap out of her. It might have been so much better if again she really tried, but she was just straight up outmatched. Because then again, that lends credence to how Bayley won their match over a month ago. Well, remember, Bayley had to rake the fucking eyes to do it because it calls everything into question. Yeah, Bayley, you're great, but look at fucking Bianca Belair. And then it really, I think, hypes you up that much more for the rematch.
Yeah.
So yeah, in light of your criticism, it has me reassessing the segment a bit, and I do think I come down more on your side than I would have going into it. But we both unanimously agree strongly. This was amazing for Bianca.
Yes.
I say this pessimistically because I'm obviously hoping for so much more for her in 2021. But given WWE booking, that could be, I want to stress, could be the best moment she has this year, carrying Otis on her shoulders.
Yeah.
We will see. We will see. I
think people are going to also kind of underappreciate how impressive the hurdles and then the military walls that she cleared were. Because, I guarantee you get, a Sami Zayn or Nakamura, really just trying to think of guys that are good athletes, but not freaky athletes like Cesaro, Apollo, Big E, that kind of thing. I guarantee you they would have struggled more on those than she did. I promise you, especially with the hurdles. She cleared those things. And that was her specialty in track when she was in college too. She is a hurdle. That was her thing. That was her specialty. And then the walls, even above average athletic men would still struggle with that a hell of a lot more than Bianca did. She got over those so easily to me.
Yeah, dude. I've been a fan of hers for quite some time. It was
that's
amazing.
The thing with her. She's such a freakish athlete that she makes incredibly difficult things look so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
And Bayley was going out of her way to make relatively easy things look difficult. How much do you think Chad Gable weighs, John?
Oh, he's got to be 150, 160.
I was going to say, I literally, while she was doing it, I was like, he's what, 165, maybe 175 at most? And Bayley,
she fell to her knees with fucking Chad Gable on
her
shoulders.
we've seen pretty much every girl in NXT bench press more than that weight multiple times, right?
Yeah.
It's the only reason it's embarrassing is because we know she was faking. We know that she didn't actually, or she shouldn't have actually struggled with that. We know that she's strong enough to have carried Chad Gable that far without any goddamn problem, without tripping. The basketball thing was cute and all. Apparently somebody mentioned earlier, Alex Foster mentioned earlier that apparently Bayley, Kofi Kingston, and The Miz are all known for being awful at basketball. Fine. Why the fuck was it in the obstacle course then? Why would Bayley, knowing that she's bad at basketball, include it in the obstacle course that she wants to win?
I guess because she knew that we didn't know that. It was I can get away with this. Yeah,
that's all I'm that's my problem. My problem isn't with the segment overall because it made Bianca, and that was probably really what the goal was to make Bianca. My problem is that they made Bianca at the expense of also making Bayley look fucking stupid and incompetent.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because on one way, I guess you could say, this obstacle course was constructed, again, those hurdles. Why put hurdles in an obstacle course with somebody that did them in college and crushed them?
Yeah.
And I think, to answer my own question, Bayley wanted to show that she's better at what Bianca's best at than Bianca is. And it just...
but she didn't even actually want to do that because she gave Bianca higher hurdles to jump over anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think conceptually this is a great idea, and again, it did make Bianca look great. But in light of your criticism, it's definitely giving me pause and maybe they could have made Bayley look a bit better here.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is Bayley is the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion of all time, and now we're supposed to believe that she's dumb enough to put hurdles and basketball in an obstacle course in which she's going against a former hurdle specialist and is herself bad at basketball. Apparently, whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, I I thought of a third route, too. You could have cut out Bayley's whole participation in this thing. She could have even said, well, you're the EST. We hear about
is
it all
this
the
a
time,
throwback to Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar?
I think so, in a way, right? Where he has Kurt, like, kind of urges and then just kind of walks off.
Wasn't that was like the push-up thing, right? He had Kurt 100 push-ups or whatever, and then he was like, good job, Kurt. I guess you win this one, and he just walks away.
Yeah, or that might have actually been Kurt to Brock. I don't know. But, yeah, like, she could have had Bianca run the course, be like, oh, you're always talking about you're the EST. Come on, show us. And then she does with Otis, because that Otis visual is money. So, like, you want to keep everything. And then when Bianca, like, comes back, and maybe the basketball is like last, but maybe Bayley's holding the basketball for Bianca to finish the course. Bayley's like, oh shit, she just carrying Otis. Like, she can even have this stunned look on her face. Then she throws it in her gut. Then she beats her up. Bayley doesn't even do the course. That could have been another route that could have gone. Maybe. Like Bayley urging Bianca to go first. She does it, and then bam, just assaults her anyway. So. Yeah, just little ways to tweak it because again, conceptually, there was a lot great there, and execution for again Bianca's side was fantastic. But moving on from that, not going to talk about Dominic versus King Corbin. We touched on that in the first segment. So then we get Paul Heyman versus Adam Pearce again. The scalp's about to butt here, or so we think. Heyman comes out. He's taping his fist, and he's like. He trips on the stairs.
Ow!
Yeah. He's like, oh, what was that? Card subject to change. Then always count on Michael Cole as soon as Roman Reigns music hits. Oh my God. Yeah, Cole, the world's ending. So Roman comes out, immediately hits a Superman punch on Adam Pearce. And really seems like he's going to give him the business, beat his ass down. Pearce gets one fucking right hand, and I feel like that's the only offense he got on his side of things. Roman more or less creamed him. He's ready to go up into the Thunderdome with Pearce the same way he did with Kevin Owens, I want to say 2 weeks ago now. And he gets stopped by a hooded man, and oh my God, it's Kevin Owens. And they get into a brawl, and what I love about this is finally, because if I had any nitpick of this feud, truthfully, I feel like it's been so one-sided, understandably so. But, like, you want to make Kevin actually seem really capable, like, between pay-per-view bouts. Like, man, he really can take it to Roman. And boy, did they ever tonight. Because he's going at it with Roman. And I love how Roman's going for a Superman punch. And I think Kevin did kick him below the belt, which is going to be legal in last minute standing anyway, so I don't hold it against him. And he hits a stunner. And he lays him out. Roman's, like, got this look on his face, like, oh, fuck, he's stunned. He doesn't even know where the fuck he is. He rolls out. He's trying to get away. Kevin is still, like, beating him down. He stuns him again on the outside. He says, oh, you got anything to say, Paul? Oh, you're speechless. Got nothing to say? And Paul's just looking like, oh, God, this wasn't the plan. What the fuck? And then the just cherry on top. Fucking pop-up powerbomb through the announce table. You guys know, especially you longtime viewers know, that I am an absolute fucking mark. I was wondering that too, Javaris. We'll get to that in a second. I'm an absolute fucking mark for the little shit in wrestling. So, like, you're feuding with a champion, you hold the title up, I get goosebumps on the visual. And I'm not even going to hold it against this segment. Kevin Owens, I think, in my mind, really needed this. The feud really needed this, and I loved it. I wanted so badly for Kevin Owens to imitate a 10 count. And, like, for just be like, that easy. That easy for me to beat you on Sunday. I did love, though, that even after we got the logo, I thought we weren't done. Because Kevin is going for, like, a thing of steel steps. And all the officials are, like, swarming him, like, no, Kevin, no, that's our meal ticket, no. And he's just looking at Roman like, oh, you're lucky all these officials have your back. But they're not going to be there Sunday at Rumble. Well, I make it seem like it's this Sunday. It's next Sunday. So he says, next Sunday. So really, in my mind, great segment that Kevin Owens as a babyface, as a contender, really needed. But, man, I would have fucking been over the top if he imitated the 10 count. And, like, just saying, yeah, coming for your ass. But I loved it. I've been waiting for that beatdown. It didn't disappoint. I'm so fucking hyped for this match. I don't know if I've been hyped for a world title match like this in a long time. Because I was hyped for Drew versus Brock. Because I really felt like Drew was going to finally get his moment. But that was more about Drew getting what he deserves. And just, like, fans of Drew that have been wanting this for a long, long time. For this, it's just being hyped for a world title match, period. And by WWE standards, I can't remember the last time I was hyped for a whole match rather than just one individual getting their moment or a group of fans of that person getting their moment. This is just all about the match for me, baby. It's great shit. Great fucking shit. But yeah, I don't know, man. Do you have any opinions about where the fuck Jey Uso was this week? Because I kept waiting for him to show up, man. He wasn't anywhere. You think he's preparing for the Rumble or some shit?
I hope it's not trying to prepare for the Rumble. I mean, shit, man. I know that there was the whole thing about him wanting to run things with Roman and make the Samoan dynasty, the kings of the whole WWE, and take it over and everything. But I'm pretty sure that Roman's priorities should come before your own, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say it like this since Javaris already said it. Roman's the Julia to Jay's Javaris right now. Jay is in for such shit when Roman gets home. He's gonna get home and be like, just got powerbombed through a fucking table. Where were you? Uso, I was just preparing for the Rumble. I don't tell you to prepare for the Rumble. It's gonna be ugly, man. I'm scared for Jey Uso. But yeah.
Gotta love that domestic abuse.
Dude, only from the tribal chief. But yeah, I'm curious what the go home show is going to be, because I would have honestly, that is another interesting thing. I would have expected a segment like this on the go home show, but we still have another week. So I wonder how Roman's going to respond to this. God, Javaris, I love how you're living for that right now. So I don't know, maybe Kevin stands tall again. Maybe Roman does get a measure of revenge, which would seem more likely, but I'm all in on this program. Do you have anything you want to add about this whole segment?
I don't think so, no. I think this was just well done. It was a good segment, and I'm ready for next week's go-home show. I kind of getting my hopes up a little bit, maybe unnecessarily so, that Kevin got the edge this week, hoping that Roman gets the edge next week, because that would actually get my hopes up that Roman might actually fucking win. Or that Kevin might actually fucking win at Rumble.
Yeah, dude, I am so fucking ready for that match. So yeah, with that said, if you've got nothing to add, let's get to our next segment. High spots and low shots. I'm going to say that, you know what? My low shot, just because I'm really just feeling myself, it's Dominic Mysterio. You talk such shit. You got humbled by fucking adult Caillou.
Oh, he got canceled.
Yeah, he did. And then you suffered for it, Dominic. So, fuck off. Who's your low shot?
Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he got bailed out eventually, but he still got his ass whooped for a little while. He was not expecting that. He thought he was going to get... He was coming into this thinking, oh man, I'm finally going to get my hands on that roach, Paul Heyman. And then Heyman bails out and Roman comes out and beats his ass. Yeah, you got hoodwinked, bro.
Oh man, the scrap daddy went to the scrap heap. But yeah, high spot.
Oh yeah, easy. Thank you to Foster. Honorary low spot's got to go to Billy Kay. Feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Really, the entire trio of that Riot Squad trio, Ruby, Liv, and Billy, but Billy definitely made out the worst here.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
High spot, just really easy for me. Kevin fucking Owens.
Of course.
What a night he had. And you know what? Even with the beatdown of Roman alone, that would have been enough to get this spot. But let's not forget, too, he cut a really vulnerable, emotional promo about his grandparents who aren't here. And, this was the night for Babyface KO right now, so far. Because we got to see vulnerability. We got to see, passion. We got to see him be an ass kicker. It just checked every box. So I'm curious who your high spot's going to be, though.
Yeah, my high spot's actually pretty easy. I actually thought you were going to take this one. It's Bianca Belair.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
She absolutely killed it. Honorary high spot will go to Reginald, just for a really, really strong debut match on main roster. But, I mean, Bianca really shone tonight. She really, the obstacles, being able to flip the tire so effortlessly, and then the hurdles being a solid 1.5 feet or so higher than they were for Bayley, and still breezing through them, and then actually going over the military walls, and then carrying fucking Otis, and then breaking Bayley's ankles. Yeah, Bianca was the star of the show for me tonight.
Absolutely. Great picks, man. All right, guys. With that said, this has been Friday Night Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. day. I'm John. That's my core and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Friday Night Smackdown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to comment down below when this video is done processing. What match are you most looking forward to at Royal Rumble so far, based on the SmackDown side of things and how they've been building it up? How do you feel about how they're building Cesaro and Bryan, for instance, for the Men's Rumble? What did you think of the obstacle course tonight? Do you feel like you agree with Ashton's assessment of the segment? What did you think about Sami Zayn? How are you feeling about our tribal chief Roman Reigns? All of your thoughts that are SmackDown related, talk to us. Talk to us. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're a part of in the description box below. I'm just going to point out two things. The TWitWoW Q&A that we do every month, that's going to be January 28th. We are 6 days away. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord is where you can submit all of your Q&A questions. Non-Patreon donors get 3 Q&A questions. Patreon donors get up to 5 Q&A questions. And the donation for extra Q&A questions is only $1. So if you're thinking, man, these are some great questions, I just really wish that I could have asked Ashton and John this, though. You donate $1, you get 2 extra questions. So you can clean off more of your plate, so to speak. So beyond that, I do want to point to the Patreon. You can go check it out. You can see what we offer, the tiers for donations and how we break them down. The other big thing is the TWitWoW Discord. Great community, wonderful people, and we've taken our Discord to the next level with Among Us Mondays. Since we weren't reviewing Raw at all for this month, every Monday has been dedicated to Among Us. I'd really like to keep that going. It's been really nice. And yeah, it's just a great time. So again, if you want to get in on that Among Us goodness with TWitWoW, we always like to have a full lobby. We actually got a 10-person lobby for the first time, our last Among Us round. I'd like that to be a more common occurrence because I think it's just a lot more fun with more people. So consider donating $3 and joining us. As far as our Twitter handles, I'm going to say mine first is to collect Q&A questions. Circling back to Q&A, again, you can submit your questions. My pinned tweet is to receive your Q&A questions. So if you want to reply to it, give me your questions, that's totally fine. Ashton's pinned tweet, which I have pulled up, is the TWitWoW schedule. He does a TWitWoW schedule for every month. We're rounding out January here. Soon he'll have a new pinned tweet, which is the TWitWoW schedule for the month of February. So if ever you're thinking, is it a TWitWoW day today? You can just hop on by to Ashton's Twitter and find out for yourself. And in that spirit,
that was
guys,
such an authentic way of asking that question. I almost was ready to answer you.
I know, right? But in that spirit, guys, I do have the calendar pulled up. I'm going to walk you guys through it because next week is ridiculous. So we have the next 3 days off. Nothing Saturday, nothing Sunday, and nothing Monday. So again, it'll be an Among Us Monday during Raw. If you want to donate $3 and join us, you're more than welcome. But then Tuesday, beginning Tuesday, January 26th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it's a Patreon request. It's TWitWoW Request Live for Vengeance 2003. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Wednesday at 5, it is going to be Stardom, New Year's Stars Day 6 afternoon show live reactions. Then we have a second commentary that's at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That is our NXT review. We'll be covering the entire episode, the continuation of the Dusty Classic, all that good stuff. Thursday is Q&A. So again, as I've been saying, guys, get your questions in. You got less than a week now. We do Q&As 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I know some people like to get them in, last because, they know we love them so much. Know that that's when the window closes, is 7. So get your questions in before then. Then Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Stardom New Year's Stars Day 6 evening show live reactions, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Then another commentary again at 10. It'll be the Smackdown Go Home show before Royal Rumble that Sunday. That's going to be at 10 p.m. just like tonight. Saturday, this is where it gets really good. Saturday, Royal Rumble 2021 preview and predictions. We'll be going live with that at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it is Royal Rumble 2021 live reactions. We're covering the whole Rumble, pillar to post. It's going to be fucking awesome. Then we get into February, and the only things I'll say about that for now is that because this is a big 4 happening, between the 30th and the 31st in our coverage, and Rumble again actually is on the 31st, we will be doing a post-Royal Rumble Raw Rocket League stream. That's going to be, very interesting. We'll see the fallout from Rumble. Who's going to WrestleMania?
Honestly, we might even do Among Us instead of Rocket League, since I actually forgot that was even an option. We might do a post Royal Rumble Raw Among Us stream instead of Rocket League. We'll leave that up to the fans, though.
Yeah, I'm guessing Among Us might actually win that vote pretty confidently. Beyond that, guys, standard stuff. Wednesday, February 3rd, 10 p.m. will be our NXT review. But then again, Friday, the 5th of February, will be another post-Royal Rumble Rocket League or Among Us stream. And that'll be, again, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm only walking you guys through that because we are covering a Big 4 coming up. So we tweak things just a little bit for the following month. But yeah, you guys already got the big, thorough breakdown of what's happening this coming week. Now that we're rounding this one out, not going to go through it again most immediately, though. Just be aware, Tuesday at 4, we are going to be live reacting to Vengeance 2003. That's what you need to keep in mind. Everything else, again, you just go to Ashton's pin tweet and you can see it for yourself. So with that said, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. As always, be good to yourselves and to each other. And until then, tune in and peace out.